I'd like to mention a few more things of the Hanhagos of the Rebbe during davening. The meaning is that when you say Kodesh, Baruch, Yimlich, people jump up, make a jump up. So the way I remember the times that I paid attention, so by Shachris, the Rebbe would jump up by Kodesh, by Baruch, and by Yimlich. By Mincha, he would only jump up by Kodesh and Baruch. By Musaf, the times I looked, sometimes I saw him did jump up by Yimlich, and sometimes he didn't jump up. But by Kodesh and Baruch, he did. When he davened for the Amid, and he said Kedusha in middle Chazoros Hashatz, he never jumped up at all for nothing, not for Kodesh, not for Baruch, not for Yimlich. And the reason is because if that time it's Shemoneh Esrei, Chazoros Hashatz is Shemoneh Esrei. So when the Rebbe is saying Kaddish, it's not like we say Kaddish, Kedusha, when you answer Kedusha. When the Rebbe would say Kedusha, it was the middle of Shemoneh Esrei, because Chazoros Hashatz, in the middle of Shemoneh Esrei, you can't do anything. Also, the Rebbe would never move his head to the right and to the left like some people do by Kodesh and things like that. Kodesh, 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 they go up the sides. The Rebbe didn't do that at all. Another thing, when the Rebbe said Krishma, so when he said the word Echod, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echod, he would move his head to all the sides like it's mentioned as Shita in Shulchan Aruch. He would move his head from the right to the left and then front and back and up, because it's supposed to be merames of the fact when you say Echod, you're supposed to have a mind that Davish is the king of the seven Akim and the Oretz, seven heavens and the earth, and the Daled Ruach HaSeil on the four sides of the world, so he would make with his head to all these sides. Also, sometimes when he davened upstairs by Mincha, Ma'ariv, and there was a chazan, he would wait for the Rebbe to finish Hashem Elokeichem Emes in order to say out loud Hashem Elokeichem Emes. That was happened sometime that the Rebbe was like behind, because he started Krishma a little late, so the Eilu finished Krishma, so the Rebbe would, in the middle of his Krishma, he'd pick up his head, look at the Chazan, sometimes, it didn't happen too often, but it happened sometimes, he would pick up his head, look at the Chazan, and shake his head. In other words, you can say already Hashem Elokeichem Emes. And the Chazan would say then Hashem Elokeichem Emes, even though the Rebbe wasn't holding it there yet. I do remember once a Chazan that the Rebbe did that, and he still didn't do it. He felt that it wasn't right to say Hashem Elokeichem Emes before the Rebbe finished. I don't know if it's the right thing or not, because the Rebbe did motion his head, but I remember once that happened. Another thing I want to mention is that when the Rebbe davened upstairs Shabbos Mincha, so when it came to saying Zeis HaTorah by Hagbe, the Rebbe would move over closer. In other words, the Rebbe stood, his place by Shabbos Mincha was by the edge next to the Cheder Sheni. His stender stood there, the table that was there, that's there, and the Rebbe sat on the other side of the table, meaning with his back to the wall, where you have the window between the Cheder Sheni and the Zal. The Rebbe would sit there. So, but he would stand, by Kriyas HaTorah, he would stand by the stender. But when it came to saying V'zeis HaTorah, he would take a few steps away from the stender to get closer to the bimeh and look at the Sefer Torah, and then he would say V'zeis HaTorah. And this fits to what the Alter Rebbe writes in the Siddur, that Kishmagdim HaSefer Torah, L'har is Haksav L'am, when you pick up the Sefer Torah to show the writing to the people, Kol Odam Yishtadel L'karev Atzmin L'teva, every person should try to get closer to the bimeh, K'dei Sheyuchel Likrei Mashakosa b'Sefer Torah, you're able to read what it says in the Sefer Torah. Be'eis Hagboas HaSefer Torah, when you do Hagba, when you pick up the Sefer Torah. Be'yemer, then he would say V'zeis HaTorah. So the Rebbe would actually walk over closer, by every Shabbos, by Mincha, he would walk closer over a few steps to the Bimeh in order to look at the Sefer Torah closer, and then he would say V'zeis HaTorah.